This is our destiny. We about to lift our community so we can be all around the world. Yeah, we gon' be all around the world. All around the world, going all around the world. Yeah, we gon' be all around the world. All around the world, going all around the world. We building wealth, leaving legacy. This is our destiny. We about to lift our community so we can be all around the world. Yeah, we gon' be all around the world. All around the world, going all around the world. Yeah, we gon' be all around the world. All around the world, going all around the world. We building wealth, leaving legacy.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is your girl, Donna Jean. Having a few technical difficulties. That's what happens sometimes on live TV. So, how is everyone this afternoon? Hope you all have enjoyed your week. It's been a long week. I had a lot of parents complaining about school is back in. But yay for the parents that are taking the time out to do what they need to do to teach their kids. Congratulations to all the teachers that are learning new things, going virtual, and all of that good stuff. But right now, we're here to learn a little Black history. And with that being said, I'm going to find John Sanders. Hi, John. How are you?
Aha, I'm here. You found me. You found me. About time.
I'm telling you, it's a long.
I'm excited.
It's been a long one. It's been a long. So, John, I know today we were going to talk about, I'm going to put it up one more time because I just love this background. I'm going to take this down and let everybody see our background one more time, okay?
Absolutely.
With that being said, John Sanders, we're going to get into the heart and soul of the Filmore district. Now, John, this is what I will tell you. I'm probably about 2 years older than you, maybe 3. Well, just somewhere along there. But I had never heard of the Filmore district until you told me about it.
Absolutely.
So, would you like to tell our guests tonight a little bit about the Filmore district?
Certainly. And once again, if you all are logging on, we want you all to hit those like buttons, all right? Hit like, share, and we also want you all to engage and comment. So I just want to provide some context before we get into the Filmore district, which was a historically Black business district in the city of San Francisco. Most of us at this point know about Black Wall Street. We know that Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma was the most thriving economic hub for Black people, right? The most thriving Black community in America, located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we know about Black Wall Street, but what most people don't realize is that there were over nearly 100 Black business districts nationwide. So every major, nearly 100 Black business districts nationwide. We also spoke about another Black business district in Brickton. I just want to provide some context so that we all understand how dynamic the Black community was, right? So the Filmore district was home to hundreds, right? Not just dozens, hundreds of Black-owned businesses. That include jazz clubs, hotels, restaurants, banks, schools. There was a thriving nightlife. I mean, it was the place to be. everything black owned. Everything was owned and dominated by black people. Coffee shops, bookstores, theaters, all of these businesses and enterprises lined the streets of San Francisco's Fillmore district. The Fillmore district essentially became Black San Francisco's cultural and economic hub. People, it was actually called the Harlem of the West, Harlem of the West Coast. This was an area where a lot of major artists performed at night at neighborhood venues. All the celebrities. So it was a thriving black business district. In addition to the commercial business district, black people also owned properties and they lived in the community as well.
Yes.
At my preacher time right here, I'm preaching already, so I'm sweating.
I
even start the sermon, already sweating.
I understand. You know what? When I was doing the research on the Fillmore district, I even found out that I actually had a relative that had performed at the Majestic Ballroom there. And it was just like, oh my God, I knew he was a blues artist in the South. And he migrated to Chicago. He did things there in Chicago, but I didn't know that, way back then he went there and performed alongside of greats like Red Fox. And so it was just like all of these names are popping up and I'm going, oh my God. And then I saw my relative's name and it was just like, it was just totally awesome. The different people that performed and how grand the ballroom, the Majestic Ballroom was, and they renamed it to the Filmore Auditorium. So when you see something named Filmore, it has a huge historical
legacy. Yeah, a lot of historical significance. Absolutely.
So in case you don't know, there's a brewery downstairs. It's an eatery downstairs from me, and it's called the Filmore 13. So I went down, I was telling him, and he was like, oh yeah, that's why I named my place that, because it had historical meaning. And so here this man is, he knew the meaning of it, and me, I had never heard of it.
Absolutely. And isn't it interesting? And I know we talk about this a lot. We talk about Black history, but also the correlation or the intersectionality between Black history and Black economics. See, again, like we spoke about this last week and the week before, when we don't control our institutions, when we don't have our own school districts, when we don't control media, because we understand that Black people own these, there was significant ownership in the Black community, even in the Fillmore district. When we lose our ownership, we lose our ability to communicate, right? We lose our ability to not only communicate, but now we become victims to what mainstream society feeds to us and they push to us. So the reason why we don't know about this is because we don't teach this to ourselves. We don't have the information because we're being educated by mainstream America. We're being educated by America's school system, not the Black center, African center school district. We're being educated by an institution
that doesn't have the best interest of
our people.
We're being spoon-fed little bits and pieces of history, what they want us to know. Not
whatever they want us to know. Absolutely.
Yeah, not what we really need to know about our history. We just know what they want us to know about our history. So they want us to know about Martin Luther King. They want us to know about Malcolm X, maybe, but and
Nelson Mandela and people like that.
They don't necessarily want us to know how strong of a people we were. They don't want us to necessarily know how rich of a community we used to have, where men, like you say, men headed up the household. That part,
absolutely.
And back in the Fillmore district, that was something that was very prevalent, where you had the men heading up the household, and you had the men going out to work, and the women, not necessarily, even if they worked in the public, they
They took
still
care of the home.
they took care of the home. They worked to help make ends meet.
Yes,
But man was the main provider. So
that's natural order. Yeah.
it was, yeah. And it was just really interesting learning about the Filmore district. But I want you to tell more about it, because it was just so much. It was just so much. I was kind of overwhelmed with it. It was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we talk about Black history within the context of Black community, right? It is very overwhelming because it's not just Black Wall Street. There were over 100, nearly 100 Black business districts.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Black business districts in America. You also have Black business districts in other countries that have also dissolved. So going back to the Fillmore district, we need to talk about, so we spoke about what the Fillmore district was composed of, right? All of these thriving Black businesses. But we also need to talk about, well, where is this Black community today? You know, we know about Black Wall Street being burned to the ground, right? By white terrorists, right? This was strategic. This was planned. This was scientific. Now, what they did was they implemented something called redevelopment. This happened in the 1970s, the redevelopment plan. At that time, they called it urban renewal. So you had Black business owners, Black leaders, right? Black churches and preachers who allowed the white supremacist economic structure. When I use the term white supremacist economic structure, that's another conversation. But in this context, we're talking about white developers that came in with their construction projects. They wanted to build fancy, housing, new housing. They wanted to build new infrastructure, right? They came in and they bought out. They came with briefcases. They came with suitcases and dollar bills, right? They were ready to make it rain. And the Black people in that community, not all, but I mean, you had a significant portion of people in the community that allowed themselves to get sold, right? So they came in, and the redevelopment agency, we call it gentrification now. Once they redeveloped these areas, the local Black businesses were priced out. They couldn't afford, the new infrastructure that was built and implemented. And this is what happens when we have when there's no conversation or strategy about the Black preservation, the preservation of Black community. They systematically and scientifically removed us from the community. We see what they did back in the 1920s was they bombed the community. Now in the 70s, they come with a different bomb. That's dollar bill, right? It's the same tactic, but a different method.
Yes. So you know what? They were, when you said they came in and they had the dollar bill, what I did find out was that they moved, because before the Blacks were there, it was a Jewish neighborhood. So then the Blacks took over the community, and then the Hispanics came in with the Blacks and helped to make that district such a beautiful entertainment district. So it wasn't just Blacks, you had the Hispanics there as well. So we were working together with the Hispanic, our Latino brothers.
Well, to a certain degree, yes. To a certain degree, no. So you also had Asian Americans there as well. But the Black community was clearly defined. There was a clearly defined Black community, clearly defined Black culture. Now you had, sprinkles of Asian populations and sprinkles of Latino populations, but the Black community was clearly defined. And I don't want to deviate from the conversation, but I want to make sure we have a conversation about this, because what happened in the 1960s, this is how we lose Black communities. We promote integrationalist ideology.
Okay.
It's this integrationalist mixing ideology, right? So see, instead of talking about preserving the integrity of Blackness, We want to jump into the let's mix and mingle, right? Let's integrate with other groups. But here's the question: when you look at in the same city, you have a thriving Chinatown. Will you ever find a Black business thriving in the middle of Chinatown or in a Japanese town in Los Angeles? I mean, well, Koreatown in Los Angeles. You have a thriving Latino community in the same city that's decimated.
You will not find a Black business in the middle of Chinatown. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
From my travels, no, you won't.
But see, this is how we missed out. See, we were more concerned about mixing and blending. Let's sing kumbaya at the diversity table, right?
Mm-hmm.
And diversity has its place. Multiculturalism has its place. But the reason why we continue to lose our Black communities is because we're not talking about preserving Black community. We want to save all minorities. You know, we like using the term minority, people of color, right? We're inclusive. You know, we place more emphasis on inclusion than we do our own self-sustainability. That's not how you play the game of chess.
Okay.
This is not how you play chess. So this was the reason why when the white power structure came into the Black community, into the Filmore district, we welcome people with open arms without being critical, without looking at history, without connecting the dots, right? Without saying, wait a minute, they came 10 years ago and we tried to mix and blend and mingle. But see, here's the reality. While we're sitting back playing fair, because we want to be nice, we want to accommodate, they're coming in to compete. They're coming in to play the game of chess to win.
Take over.
Exactly. Hispanics have always done that in the Black community. The same with the Asian Americans, and they're lovely people. Look, I love all people. But when you play the game of chess, if you follow Dr. Claude Anderson and Dr. Boyce Watkins talks about this. Black people need to put their own self-interests first, no different than the Jewish American community, right? You think the Jewish American community are going to allow for Blacks to come into the Jewish American community and dominate their economy with your Black soul food restaurant and your Black this? Absolutely not. They have a clearly defined space, and they make no apologies about preserving their culture.
Yes, they do. Because I mean, anywhere you go and you see the Jewish in a Jewish neighborhood is established, you know that it's a Jewish community because they proudly walk the streets in their, you know.
I'm from New York. Yeah.
You know that they're Jewish.
Absolutely.
They proudly display all of their Jewish emblems and
so,
you know, which is nothing wrong with it, but they proudly do it. In our communities have a bad rep. You know, in the some neighborhoods, not all, but most Black neighborhoods have a bad rep. So, and it's not cool, the reputation that our neighborhoods have. And
notice you use the term neighborhood, not community. See, African Americans in America, we are the only group of people without community. So we're the only group of people without a community, and you're already trying to talk about, like, you're already putting the cart before the horse. You're already talking about multiculturalism and diversity, and let's, you know, let the Latinos and the Asian Americans and Jewish Americans, let these groups come on in, and we build community together. That's not how the game works. See, the even the Indian Americans, the Indians from the country of India, their growing population in Atlanta, in New York, New Jersey, they have come into this country through immigration policy, American immigration policy legislation. Their growing population, they have come, they buy up properties, they lock in a space. Everything's owned by the Indian. Everything's dominated by the Indian. You don't see other groups coming in, opening up their shops, not in great numbers. No. This is why we lose our Filmore districts. See, first they came and they physically bombed the community, and then After they bombed Black Wall Street, they started messing with the black mind. See, black people stopped talking about building black, and we went to, let's talk about civil rights. Let's make sure we include everybody, even though everybody has a leg up, even though all of these groups have come into the United States of America off of the backs of African Americans. And they've built empires and institutions on our backs. And we're the only people without an economy. And you're already trying to mix and mingle.
And it's sad that we have lost so many communities, so many historical buildings, because the Majestic Theater, which was like I said, was renamed the Filmore. It's not ran now by a black person. It's now ran by a corporation.
I mean, of course not.
An investor. Yeah. Because I was trying to figure out who owned it, and I just kept coming up with like an investment company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you couldn't. So it's like a group of investors have taken over that building.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is our problem right here. You see, when we came like 10 minutes ago, you were saying, "Oh, the Latino brothers and sisters came in and we're built together." And I understand. We see, we're good-hearted people. Black people naturally, like, we have a good heart. We believe, like, we've never been individualistic. You know, black people, if you look at our African culture, you know, our West African culture, we always allowed outsiders to come in without properly vetting, without properly putting ourselves first. And what happens? Once the developer comes in, we see them as friends, but we don't understand that there's a larger scheme. There's a larger strategy. No race has come to America to play the game to be fair. America is not about being fair. This is why every community has their own central district, their own business district. They do business with each other. And you're talking about the black family and the men being the head of the household. What America is trying to do now is they're trying to program and rewire the mindset so that people now classify a man being the head of the household, the woman coming under his protection, right? And the children being submissive to the parents. America is trying to label that as oppressive. It's oppression. And see, once you destroy order in the black household, now you can destroy the fabric of the black community.
Okay.
There's no structure in the black household, so now they can come in and destroy everything that we create. And that's what they did. They brought drugs into the community. They promoted this welfare culture. Yeah. So now we're so drugged up, we're high, we sitting around, we on the corners drunk. Ain't nobody thinking about no gentrification. Like, ain't nobody thinking about, oh man, you know, the white man gonna come and take over our neighborhood. We need to guard up and protect ourselves. They started with killing off the black male, because the black man represents protection. The black man represents leadership. The black man represents the first line of defense. The woman comes under his protection. The kids submit to the mom and dad, right? Destroy the black man. Now you leave the women and children vulnerable. Now you can go into our communities with money, and we sell because we have no foundation. And this is a microcosm of the larger picture.
And we sell out.
Yeah, we sell out. Another thing that happened was black churches, our wonderful pastors, and this was back in the 60s. I started doing research, you know, learned that black pastors were also being sold out. What the developer did, and they were so clever, they talked to the black pastor and they write checks to the black pastor, to the black leadership to sell the project. See, I understand this very well. I used to work for a developer. Right? And I'm not pointing fingers at any specific person or entity or business. I just want to put that out there. But understand this is a microcosm of what's happening to us. We spoke last week about why do we talk about Black history? I don't want to hear about Black history. That's just too boring. I think let's just talk about the future. We always want to talk about the past. No, you can't create a future if you don't understand the conditions of Black people today, and you can't, it's impossible to understand the conditions that we're in, and why we're so dysfunctional, why we're so disorganized, if you don't understand the root cause. We don't have a Filmore district because we're programmed to not protect Black community. So anybody can come in and just take over. Black men don't understand their role. They don't understand that your responsibility is to be the head. You're the protector. You are the defender. Now anybody can come in and you just, oh, come on in. Come on, you can come in and just take over. It's fine. Come on in. Yeah.
Right, let him in.
We're so gullible. Not all of us, but I think most of us. And this is my last point. I promise you I'm going to shut up. You just got my skin boiling. This is what see, what's happening in the Filmore district is what's happening in Harlem. Mm-hmm. This is what's happening Southside Chicago. See, we still don't get it. Because, see, the same white power structure, those white developers came in back in the 1960s and 70s into the Filmore district. They destroyed everything. Now they came in and they took over. They're doing the same thing right now as we speak. In Atlanta, Brooklyn, all the Black neighborhoods. This is what's happening right now on the African continent. These Black leaders have been sold out. Now we're selling everything away to the Chinese in Africa. You go to you go to any country in Africa right now. I mean, the Chinese pretty much dominate more than the Black people. That's supposed to be our continent.
Yes, and I know when we had Dr. Umar Johnson was here on the show, the latter part of last year, the last part of last year, and he spoke on how the Chinese were taking over in Africa.
I love the term take over because that's the honest truth. Sorry.
And they took it. I mean, when he finished talking about it, I was sitting there and I was just like, how can the Chinese leave China and go to Africa and take over? But that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Because it goes back to the game of chess. Back to the Filmore district, right? The Chinese were taught, African people, we as African people, we were taught to be fair. We're taught to play the game to be nice, right? We want to be nice. We're taught to accommodate. Let's be fair. Let's promote integration. Let's promote interracial relationships. We want to be fair to everybody, not realizing, sweetheart, that you're at the bottom. You're an exploited group. You're being decimated. You're on the verge of being wiped out. See, while you're fighting, while you're playing the game of chess to be fair and play by the rules, they're taught to not play by the rules. They're taught to be competitive. They're taught to play the game to win. So we look at Africa. The Chinese will come into Africa. They'll smile in front of your face. Hey, what's up, Mr. Nigerian man, Black man? What's going on, my friend? And what do we do as Nigerian people? We don't smile at them and say, hey, come on in. Welcome to the house. Not realizing they have a plan. Their plan is not to be your friend. Their plan is to dominate. That's the way the world operates. This is not, see, and I'm going to shut up here. They have an agenda. See, the world, and I know it's challenging for a lot of us because many of us are Christian, we're Muslim, and I'm a Christian myself, born again Christian. So I understand we're taught to be loving, and I do believe in operating with the spirit of love, but I also believe in operating in a spirit of competitiveness and in a spirit of intelligence.
Yes.
You can't play fair in a game where the cards are stacked against you. And this is how the Chinese are able to dominate Africa. This is how the Filmore district was destroyed and dismantled. We let everybody named Mama come in without having a conversation of Black self-preservation, Black self-sustainability, and the preservation of Black family, the preservation of Black relationships. Black man marrying, procreating, and dating Black women. It started with integration, so they can come and just water down the Black community. Now they're promoting interracial relationships. So Black people don't promote Black unity, Black love anymore. We're trying to mix and mingle with everybody, while your seed is being whitened. That's the truth.
Yeah.
The truth hurts, but it's true.
So we have a comment from Alexis. She says, exactly, they're taught at an early age to be educated in other cultures, such as African Americans, to capitalize off of it.
Yeah. I mean, Sister Alexis, I mean, you broke it down. We have to see, God gave African people a very special skill. If you're African American, understand that everything that we do is pretty much from Africa. The rhythm we have, the way we dance, the way we like to, even the whole make it rain thing. You know how Nigerian that is, So just to provide some context, but I mean, even excuse my French, but even twerking, you know what I mean? Where did that come from? That's a very African thing. I mean, we've sexualized it, we've kind of made it a little more ratchet, but the reality is God gave African people a very special talent. Every nationality has their talent, but Black people have a very special skill set, a very special talent, right? We have a grace. We have a certain rhythm that other groups don't have. But because we don't promote Black self-preservation, because preserving Blackness is not number one, see what I'm saying? We're trying to mix with everybody else and give other people and show people. We trying to show them how to dance. We're trying to show Asians how to do our hair. We're trying to show the white man how to come into our neighborhood and buy the properties.
Yep. I'm so sick of seeing them. We buy houses for cash signs.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
That's a whole nother story, and that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because I have a whole program where we get those signs ripped down in the Black community. So we'll have a conversation about that.
Yes.
But we need Black men to stand up. If the Filmore district had, and I'm going to get some flack for this, but if we had strong Black men, if the Black men were on code, because all the problems that we have in the Black community starts with the man. Start with the man, because the man represents the head. He represents protection. He represents he's the foundation. A man built the house. The woman turns that house into a home, right? But when you have men that don't have the mindset of, wait a minute, guys, no. We ain't gonna let these people come in and dominate. You know what I mean? You need to show us what your agenda is. Now, if you want to come in, you're going to come in, but you're going to follow our rules. That's if we let you in. See what I'm saying? But that's how we're able to lose the Black this district. Now, I'm reading off my list here. There are pictures here we can post another day. Today, less than 5% of the city of San Francisco is Black. Less than 5%. We went, Blacks were like 13, 14, 15% of San Francisco at that time. We went from being 14, 15, 16%. Now we're down to 5%. While the Asian American population continues to grow, right? See, you let everybody in while they're trying to, they came in to be competitive. Not because they're bad people, they're actually quite smart to me.
Yeah.
Less than 5%. And the Black population in San Francisco is still declining. Pretty soon it's going to be 2%. Pretty soon you won't even have Black people living in San Francisco. This is what's happening in Chicago. This is what's happening in New York. This is what's happening in Miami. In Miami, all the Black neighborhoods have been replaced by Latinos. Los Angeles, all of your Black neighborhoods, Compton, Willowbrook, Watts, Inglewood, these areas are now dominated by Latino. All the Black businesses have been replaced by Latino. And Latinos are lovely people. I love everybody. Mm-hmm. But when playing the game of chess, I'm going to stop right there.
Yeah, we're going to stop right there. Because guess what, John Sanders? It's about that time, boo.
Absolutely.
It's about that time. We've done a beautiful show. Mm-hmm. I know you have some things you have to do, and I have a lot of things to do before the night is done. So we will reconvene our conversation yet again next Friday here on Know Your Black
SOS show.
On the SOS show live with
Uh-huh.
Donna Jean. I forgot my name. It's been that week. John Sanders has been that week.
It's been I forgot my name too, and my cell phone number and address. This was all yesterday. So and be sure to hit those like buttons and share.
Yes, please like, share, comment, and start a conversation at your home about the shows that we were talking about. Alexis says, see you next week, guys. Mm-hmm. In case you don't know, Alexis didn't feel so well today, so she's not here. So I'm basically running it all. So hope you feel better, Alexis. And with that being said, John Sanders, I will see you next week, but we'll talk before then. And from the SOS show live, please have a safe and happy holiday. Whatever you do, whether you're traveling out of town, please mask up, stay safe, follow your state guidelines, and let's try to help eradicate this coronavirus because it is real. All right. Absolutely. You got anything to say, John?
You all have a great evening. Again, like and share and have these conversations. Go to Google and type in the Filmore District, San Francisco. Have a conversation to wake up the consciousness.
All right. We'll see you later. Have a good one.
All right. Hey.
Yes,